Have you ever wondered how to keep maintenance safe and efficient? Welcome to this expert talk where we will dive into the permit to work process in SAP Cloud ERP Private. I'm Maria, your host for today. And I have the pleasure to welcome our expert, Jörg and Yakub from SAP, together with a special guest bringing the customer perspective, Marc Janssen from the company Vattenfall. Great to have you all here. Jörg, let's start with the basics to set the scene. Why is the permit to work process critical, and how does it work in the maintenance management?
Permit to work are very important for the operational safety. As an operational safety barrier, it safeguards the plant and worker safety. It helps to set up the safe environment for the work, and also it helps to identifying and communicating risks. At the end of 2020, we started with a renovating step process, where you can see here the achievement of it to modernize, simplifying and streamline the process. It contains, for example, a planning and preparation phase. But on the other hand, we have also the maintenance process. Maintenance contains also the planning, and having these two words now together, the work permit in maintenance management, it allows us to structure and formalize our safe activities and mitigating risks with safety protocols, for example, and also documenting the handover and give us also an overview of the plant in a digital way. We brought a demo with us, so let's assume we have set up the system accordingly. We have maintained some master data upfront so that we can go over the cycle of planning and preparation, approval, safety implementation and handout, as well as the return and closure. And when we are talking about it, we would like to give some hints about extensibility and the dashboard.
That makes perfect sense. Thank you, Jörg. Now, Marc, before we dive deeper, could you tell us a bit about Vattenfall as a company and why the permit to work process is so important for your operations?
Thanks again for inviting me. Vattenfall, we are one of Europe's largest producers and retailers of electricity and heat. We're 100% owned by the Swedish state. We have more than 10 million customers for electricity, gas and heat, and around 20,000 employees worldwide. If we then move to our locations and our plants, you can see we have multiple locations in the whole of Europe, where we produce wind, biomass, hydro, gas, nuclear, solar and heating. And for now, we focus on 4 business units, which is hydro in Germany, heat in Netherlands and Sweden, and also nuclear. Those business units actually using the permitting process, and we have approximately 50,000 permits a year. So that's why this process is very much important to us.
Thank you, Marc, for putting this into perspective. Yakub, let's turn to the solution itself. Could you walk us through the end-to-end permit to work process as it is designed in SAP Cloud ERP Private, please?
Yeah, sure. So I'm really excited to have this, opportunity to present how permit to work is streamlining, the safety processes in maintenance management. We have seamlessly integrated the permit to work process now with the maintenance order, and it simplifies the process from initiation phase till the execution of the maintenance order. The idea, what we are focusing is to leverage templates instead of going through from scratch. And when you do risk assessment for an equipment or a functional location, you will generally have the mitigation measures and the hazards being identified. They can be then documented and converted into templates for reuse, every time that you have a maintenance work that has to be done on that particular object. So let's imagine that we are having a maintenance order that we would be showing in the demo as well. That imagine you have a maintenance order where you want to perform the maintenance for that particular object, and that order has a specific type of equipment that you already know requires maintenance with a permit. Now on the order, you are seeing that you don't have permit yet determined, and when you go through the activities of the order, you understand that there is a lot of risk involved with these activities, and we should go ahead and create a permit for this process. So you go ahead and create a new permit, And as I told that we are trying to focus to move more towards template-based architecture. So you decide what type of permit you want to create, and you select the template so that most of the things are automatically populated. You identify the technical object for which you are running the process, and for that you select the template as well, depending on the type of work that we are doing. Now, once you do that, most of the data with respect to the job will be copied from the maintenance order. The data will be copied from the maintenance order to the general information, but the safety relevant data would be copied from the template to the permit. As you can see, the nature of work is updated. The safety precautions are as well as updated from the template, and what kind of certificate is needed is also documented along with as a safety precautions. You have the safety gears that are needed for this job that also are coming from the template, as you can see. And the certificates, if you have existing, you can assign, or you can leverage from the template itself. The order, again, you can say whether you want to work on individual activity. You can select if you want to work with an activity, or you can put it on the entire order header level. The 4I principle is again important. So you will have approvals depending on the type of permit that you have. You will define what approvals are needed, and this again will be copied automatically when you're creating a new permit. So most of the things we are trying to automate and make it as simple as possible for the user. And once you have saved, if you have a template that has safety certificate template assigned, it will generate that as well automatically for you. So it pushes most of the feature to automation, and it makes the life more simpler, so that you can take most of the information from the template and don't miss anything on the data when you're preparing safety relevant information. And with that, we have the permit ready, and let's move forward.
That already looks great. Thank you so much,
Thanks.
Yakub. Marc, we've just seen part of the process so far. Now I would like to hear from you. What benefits have you seen since implementing Permit to Work at Vattenfall, and how does the company use it on their daily operations?
Well, starting on the benefit, what we have seen within our business units is that the work itself became more safe. So we see a major drop down of safety-related incidents. So that's a big part, of course. Next to that, we have a policy in which we say every maintenance job needs a work permit. So that means that working with this new solution, either from a maintenance order or from a maintenance order operation, we make sure that we always can create a work permit from that object. And we made a small extension in which we say, okay, if we choose an operation, we transfer operation data, and otherwise we will just use the standard process in which we copy the header data from the maintenance order into the permit.
That makes sense. Thank you, Marc. Jörg, let's revert back to the Permit to Work process. How do we make sure that a review of precautions or safety conditions are addressed properly in the permit?
Yeah, thanks. I would like to explain it via our demo. So let's start first with an overview of the maintenance order again. So in the maintenance order, we have prepared is the permit assigned, and inside the maintenance order you see the relevance indicator as well as the permit, and inside the permit you see here the status summary, and the status summary gives an impression what is needed, and for now the example, the approval is now needed. And yeah, let's step into the shoes of the guy who has the authorization for approving it. Depending on customizing, you can make an assignment of an order and a safety certificate as mandatory. And let's assume I am now the guy who is approving it. That means I'm pushing to the next stage, prepare for approval. And you see here, we have two types of approvals possible. We have a mandatory and an optional one. And in this example, the optional one is, you can give an optional approval in this case with a comment, and after approving it, or you see here the comment, and after approving it, I go to the mandatory one. You see also that the status has not changed to approval in progress. And with the mandatory, we have a cool feature which is customizable. You can set up hierarchical approvals. And in this case, the second mandatory is only enabled when the first mandatory approval gets approved. So you see it here, the second now it's enabled. Let's approve it quickly so that the process is done. And you see now also the status is fully approved. And you see after every saved approval that the approval history is also applicable. What is the comments? What was the comments there from a content perspective as well as informational perspective? And after the approval, I will push it to the next step for handing out. That means printing it so that we see the content, and then the next step can be processed.
Yakub, can you guide us through the validations of the safety implementations before the permit is handed out then?
Yeah, this is one of the backbones of the entire permit to work process. So we will go into, moreover the demo directly here. I would explain it in that go, that once you have identified that this permit you need to hand out, you will go to that permit. You can go search it in the list, or if you don't know the permit number, you just know the order information, you can punch in the order information and it will give you what are the permits assigned to that order. Now in this case, we are seeing only one permit, so we'll go inside and now we want to issue. But it could be possible that not all guardrails are taken care of. So we will try to hand out a permit without doing anything. We just go ahead and try to hand it out where we are seeing, okay, the approvals are issued, it should be fine. That assumption, the system, if you have configured in the right fashion, will not allow. If you have some precautions that are not yet implemented, the system will stop you that, okay, these precautions have to be implemented. They can be mandatory or optional. So the mandatory ones will be blocked by the process, depending on which process you want to block, the printing or the issue. In this case, we have configured it for issue, so it blocked. Now we have implemented. Now let's try to do that again. Now we have dependent objects as well, right? So those also you can configure in a fashion that I don't want to continue in case the dependent objects are not correct. So here in this case, we had the certificate that was generated automatically, but it has not been verified, not been approved by anybody yet. So it would need an approval even on the certificate layer. That again is configured that if certificates are not approved, you cannot go ahead with the process. So then the system will block you. There is a guardrail for that. And once you have approved, then the certificate is in a position where you can continue with that. Somebody has validated and taken a conscious decision that, okay, this has taken care of all the safety requirements as the site, and now the certificate is fully approved and you can go ahead with the processing of the permit. Now there are still further guardrails that you can implement depending on what level of validation you want. Even you can have your own custom extensibility done on top, and you can put your own validations there. We will try to issue the permit again, and now, as I said, there are guardrails on safety precautions in permit, but there are guardrails even on the safety precautions that are part of the safety certificate as well. And here again, you can have a blocker where you want, whether you want it before the printing of the permit itself, or you want it on the issue of the permit, depending on what kind of, guardrail that you have in your system, in your company processes actually. So now we will perform the implementation of the site. This will even update the log that who implemented, at what time it was implemented. If you're doing it on a tablet, on a live environment, you can even have the audit log of exactly date and time and who did that. Okay, so now I guess all of our guardrails are in place, and so we will go ahead and issue the permit. So this consolidates more or less, all the objects, dependent objects as well, and it takes care that none of them are missed. But if you have further validations that you need, you can still go ahead and do a custom validation with the extensibility that is provided along with the objects with 2023 FPS 3. So yeah, with that we have already issued the permit. Now the technician will go ahead and do the job, and then we go into the next phase of the permit.
Thanks, Yakub. So Marc, you see our process, we have a lot of steps. Do you considering somehow in your plant and dashboard?
Yes, actually we are. We are using the standard dashboard for the plant manager, but we are looking to expand it a little bit because, like I explained before, for us it is important that we have a maintenance order or maintenance order operation starting the permit process. So we would like to have some tiles in there as well, in which we can see which orders with an open permit are there?
Thanks. So I would like to show the closure of the work permit and also a little bit of the dashboard. So let's assume the technician has reached the end of the shift. So that means we can suspend a work permit. Permit suspending can have several reasons. Revalidation, a handover to a different technician, or the shift ends. Let's assume the shift has ended. You see it here. The permit has now suspended. And with the overview, you are now completely digital aware of your plant, depending on customizing, depending on filter conditions. And in our step, we are choosing the KPI for the suspended ones. And now let's reissue, or let's hand over again to a technician so that he can work on complete the maintenance activities to safeguard the work based on the permit. So in our demo now, after reissuing it, we are closing it to close the cycle. Then, and having said that, you see also in the permit all the issue history that you are aware who worked with this permit over the permit lifecycle, so to say. Now it's closed and the circle is completed.
Thank you, Jörg, for showing us that. But we are not done yet. With both our product management team and our customer here today, this is the perfect chance to look ahead, right? Marc, this question goes to you. Considering what SAP currently offers and how you utilize this process at Vattenfall, do you have any wishes or requests for the future for our product management team?
Yeah, of course we have, but let me just focus on two. What we currently miss a little bit is a more deeper integration of the whole work permit process within the 9-phase model. So it makes sense that if you don't have a permit issued where a permit is required, and you want to go into, let's say, the phase of execution, that the system warns you and tells you, well, you cannot process because you have a permit which is not yet approved. So that's an important one for us. And another one is, and I'm already aware, SAP is putting a lot of effort in it. That's the thing about isolation management. So we are waiting for that solution to be completed. That's one. And also we are waiting that the solution is not only delivered, but it also gives us the opportunity of extensibility.
Mm-hmm. That's a good segue to talk about innovations, isn't it? SAP has recently announced the new features in SAP Cloud ERP Private 2025, as we all know. Can you share a bit about those features and also what's next on the SAP roadmap for permit to work and maintenance safety?
Yeah, sure. So I would take that. So we have in the past been delivering, for permit to work from 2023 onwards mainly, and we have come a long journey of giving it fully on Fiori and making it more simplified. We delivered the entire work permit object, safety certificate object, and as you can see, they are fully extensible. You're already implementing.
Yep.
So and the enhancement framework has been enabled with 2023 FPS3 on that as well. We have done the integration of work permit into PMJ, as well as now we have integrated in maintenance order, as we can see in the demo. That will be delivered with 2025 FPS1. We are even delivering isolation management with 2025 FPS1, along with the integration with the test cycle as well. As far as extensibility on isolation, so it is one step at a time. So we have it in the roadmap, and it will be available with the next release that is planned. Extensibility enablement on isolation management is on the roadmap already. And we will have whatever gaps are left, with this release, like shared tagging and adjusted tagging, which is again a relevant feature, and mass processing of the items as part of the next roadmap. For the maintenance order, you would like to take it?
Yes. So you're asking for the integration or extensibility of the overall status profile of the phase model. We are working currently on it to make it more flexible for customers, to control, to see more insights based on customer needs on the processes. We are planning it, we are working on it. The future will bring it.
Good, thank you.
It's good to see that there's a lot more to come. Thank you, Jörg and Yakub, and also thank you, Marc, for bringing your expertise and for the customer perspective as well. Your insights were truly fantastic. Thank you for being here with me today. And to you, thank you so much for tuning in. How did you like today's session? Let us know in the comments below. Don't forget to like and share this video and subscribe to our channel for more expert talks. For deeper conversations and to engage with other professionals, visit the SAP Community. And if you have questions or ideas for a future episode, email us at insiders4@sap.com. Thank you for watching and see you next time.